Currently, these days, I am kinda sometimes looking at which races I'm going to enter, as my team is, well, sending messages to see who enters some races, and meanwhile I'm just, because well, I haven't gotten back to school. Well, next week I'll be back at school, but meanwhile during these times, other than participating in the Baja Victory races, I decided to participate a race which was from the Vision Racing eSeries, and it was from the third tier category. And well, I only participated because none could, well, none, I mean that to complete the full lineup of 4 drivers. If not, there would have been only 3, and well, in this league it was just only to, well, finish as best as we can. But the bad thing is that there was some situation I had to go there, and well, decided to still participate, but I decided to not make a whole video about it because basically the whole race was being stranded outside of points. Although yeah, I was having a great start with this rain, but then it got restarted and it ruined, and then it got restarted once again like halfway through the race, and I decided to retire from it, which honestly wasn't much of a deal because I wasn't scoring any points and it was hopeless. And also days later I got disqualified from it because, well, it looks like the attendance wasn't so much official. But so days passed and it was a Tuesday, and Zizou was also trying to invite me to participate in a race. This time it was from the Kraken Interleagues, and if you haven't heard from it, I have participated a few races from it, like since the day that I was in the teacher almost 3 years ago, and I decided to participate it. Although yeah, it will be a terrible choice because next day I will have a race in the Baja Victory Racing. But well, it's round number 4 and it is the second tier, and that 4th round is in Silverstone. And well, I was just trying to see how well do I perform there. The race was supposed to start at 8, but it was 8 and there weren't any signs of the lobby being opened yet. And I checked the messages, and in the group chat Zizou was telling that the organizers were discussing who was the one who was going to open the lobby. And well, I decided to contact Bernie and tell that I would be the lobby host, the one who was going to be in charge with the lobby. And so he told me the lobby settings, the ones that I'm showing you, and well, that I have shown you. And yeah, I was kinda the hero of the day. And then after kicking me from the lobby and being a little bit afraid that it will happen in the qualifying race, which, spoiler alert, it did not happen, well, we began qualifying, and surprisingly I did perform well. And even though it rained during the session and I set a 1:45 as my first lap and then a 1:41.9 as my second lap, which I wanted to do back-to-back laps, but I did not have time, and so I entered to the pits and immediately went out once again and went to demolish my previous lap time by 2.7 seconds and went to set a lap time of 1:39.154, which placed me into a decently 6th position. We see that Alex Mendoza got pole with a time of 136.716 and Ghostly got second with a 137. So we see that Alex Mendoza is the only one who set a 136. Meanwhile, Ariel is the slowest driver to set a 137. The rest, like me, set a 138 or slower. Valian qualified in 4th, Samuel in 5th, I qualified in 6th, Monterreal qualified in 7th, Max in 8th, Bambino in 9th, my teammate Astronoga in 10th, Alonso in 11th, my other teammate Manuelja qualified in P12, but he's gonna start in P11 because Alonso got a 5th place grid penalty. And Brusco qualified in P13 and Magic Mike, damn, qualified with full wets. And speaking of full wets, the race is going to start with some bits of rain, and I decided to start on inters just like everybody else, and with 48 and something kilograms of fuel loaded, I am underway for the 4th round of the Kraken Interleagues from 6th position, and I head into Abbey a little bit wide. I think I ran somebody wide. And meanwhile, Max got a good getaway and heads into Village. Oh boy, crashes into Valiant and they both ran wide. And meanwhile, I head into the loop. Oh boy, Max went too aggressively and ran wide his teammate, and he took advantage from the ghost, and I get back to P7. That's not a start that I was wishing, but still, it is a good start. Virtual safety car got deployed, so we'll be waiting for it to be over. However, a few seconds later, Mozart retired from the race, and that got converted into a full course safety car. I decided to stay out, but Max went to the pits, giving me a free position. And on lap 3, safety car ended, and unfortunately I got a bad relaunch. I was overcorrecting almost every single time exiting club, and now the gap went up to 1.2 seconds between the one who's in P5 and myself. And laps passed, and unfortunately that gap wasn't decreasing, but Mountain Royale, that one was in P5, got disconnected, and now it was his AI who was driving, and eventually I overtook him. But laps passed and my inters were wearing out, and also rain was no more, and on lap 10 rain was not anymore, that the RS got enabled, and so I immediately decided to go for slicks. But I was deciding which tires to box, which are gonna be the hard tires, because it is barely lap 10 and it is gonna be 16 laps to go, and I don't think mediums will last that long. And to my surprise, a safety car got deployed, a full course safety car, just as I was about to pass the pit lane. It was perfect timing, and if I have missed the pit lane or the safety car got deployed like 2 seconds later, that would have been one of the most frustrating things. But fortunately it did not happen, and this happened. I get up to P5, which will turn to P6 because Naked decided to stay out. Huge mistake for him. You know, when you box, you lose up to 30 seconds, 20, 15 seconds when you are on a safety car situation, stuff like that. But still, 15 seconds is a lot. And when the field gets bunched up, yeah, 15 seconds is game over. And you get dropped down to last, and well, good luck. good luck having to come back, especially with these players that might be a little bit dirty. But well, we are on the half time and safety car ends, and hopefully this is the only safety car of this race, as I'm trying to stay out till the end of the race. And it is lap 14. Whoa, I'm now in P3. Wow, I did not expect that. Well, some drivers boxed, but damn, I was not expecting that much. And even though it happened during these laps, like, I could have processed pretty well, but still, I wasn't expecting that much that I would be in P3, but well, hopefully I can maintain that. Oh my god, I almost spun. It is still barely dried out, so we gotta be a little bit careful. And careful I wasn't, because I ran wide into cops, and now Mountain Royale is trying to overtake me. But fortunately I did defend it all the way till another safety car got deployed, which was just a few turns later. And although, yeah, I wasn't wishing for another safety car, but still, I'm not that pissed that another safety car got deployed. I'm just going to stay out, and I think that'll be like everybody else will do, because I see everybody in the top 5 except a Skydriver, well, one of the Skydrivers, the one who's in 4th, on hards. And on lap 18, the safety car ends, and unfortunately my tires are pretty cold, and I reacted a little bit late from the top 2, and that means that now the gap got increased by 1.1 seconds. And now I can't catch them anymore. Now I am the prey from the ones that are behind, and I need to defend like I depend on it. And it didn't got better, as on lap 20 the RS got enabled, and the gap heading to Wellington Straight was 4 tenths. But fortunately, looks like I had enough straight line speed, and Ghostly wasn't that hungry to overtake me, but still I'm in danger of losing my 3rd position, and I may lose it on the Hunger Straight that comes after the Maggots and Beckett's. And here we go. I get into Maggots, then into the Beckett's complex, and also Ghostly is the one who's on medium, so he might have great chances to overtake me, because, well, he has to do better exits than me because of the tire grip advantage. And oh my god, he tried to overtake me down the inside into Stowe, but I somehow managed to maintain my position. And well, meanwhile, one driver is retired from the race, and Alex Mendoza, the race leader, sets the fastest lap. And I begin lap 21, and the gap between Ghostly and myself is 4 tenths now, and I head into Village, and now the gap gets increased, but unfortunately I ran a little bit wide into the loop. But fortunately, oh no, I don't mean fortunately, I mean unfortunately, now the gap has gotten less than 2 tenths, and now I head into Brooklands, and no, I left my rear brakes, and no way, I just dropped down to P6. No, that's just a terrible thing. Oh my god, no way. I cannot believe that I have bent my chances to get into a podium in such a cracking way. And well, looks like Mountain Royale will not finish in 5th, as he gets a 3-second time penalty So, well, maybe if these two that are in front of Mountain Royale crashes, maybe I can get back into third. But, well, let's see. And with let's see, I mean that Mountain Royale and Ghostly are battling for P4, and Mountain Royale overtakes Ghostly round the outside into Stowe, and they're both wheel to wheel, and we get into Bell, and oh boy, Mountain Royale overtakes Ghostly down the inside, and overtakes completely him, and gets up into P4, beginning lap 23, and if I can overtake Ghostly, I may get up to P4, and I almost did this into Village, but I decided to not go for that and wait until the Wellington Straight. Unfortunately, looks like getting into P3 might be over because, well, gap got separated, and looks like we're getting slowed down by the fights that we are us making. And maybe P4 is gonna be the best I can do, or maybe not, because the safety car got deployed and Valiant spun. Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous that the safety car got deployed because of it, but well, anyways, I get up to P5, and if I overtake Ghostly, I may get up into P3, and I need to maintain the 3-second gap with Mountain Royale. However, the top two decided to stay out, and I decided to stay out as well, although Ghostly decided to box because, well, he was on mediums, and I think he was desperately wanting for a safety car to get deployed in these times, which, well, honestly, that'll be pretty messed up for him because, well, he was on mediums, and looks like he was doing that stint since the first safety car, which was like on lap 10. So yeah, it's over for him, but the main focus it's on myself, who's now in 4th position, and that means that I only need to be less than 3 seconds behind Mountain Royale in order to get into the podium. Damn, I did not expect for a chance to get into the podium appear so quickly. I thought I need to wait like a few days, a few weeks, something like that, when I clear all of my rust, but nope, it's right now, and hopefully I don't mess it up. And at the end of this lap, the safety car ends, and we only have 2 racing laps remaining, and as usual I don't get a good relaunch, and I begin lap 25 deploying bits of ERS heading into Abbey, and hopefully I maintain my 3-second gap with Mountain Royale, and the gap is going a bit decently, and I exit the loop. Oh my god, almost spinning, and now the gap has gotten up to 1.1 seconds. That's not ideal because the next lap the RS gets enabled, and well, that means that I will be defenseless against the ones that are behind me, and I don't think I can be so fast to be more than a second ahead of the ones that are behind me in just a few corners. No, I don't think so. And although if they overtake me, I'll still need to be a little bit slower, and I mean 3 seconds slower, because they have penalties, 3-second time penalties. And so I will begin the final lap of the race, and I head into Stowe, exit Stowe, and I see that the gap is half a second between that HRL driver and myself. And here we go. I begin the final lap of the race, and the gap between Mountain Royale and myself is 1.7 seconds, and Manolo Hill, my teammate, sets the fastest lap of the race, and I head into village, watching that I might be in the risk of being overtaken by that HRL driver, and I deploy much of my ERS. I think, no, I deployed some of it because I didn't need that much. The gap got increased by half a second, but it is not increased that much. But still, we see that the gap between Monterrey and myself increased to almost 2 seconds, so I don't have to be 1 second slower and heading to cops. And fortunately I didn't run wide. Also, I need to be careful with the track limits because I have already accumulated 2 warnings, and if I get one, well, all of that gets turned down into the bin, because I will get a 3-second time penalty, and that means that I will get demoted down to 4th or maybe down to 5th, because we see another HRL driver who's on softs and doesn't have any penalties. And meanwhile, oh boy, I almost get rear-ended by the one who's in 5th, and well, there we go. I finally, after only like 2.5 months, yeah, 2 months, yeah, I am on the podium once again. Although, yeah, these 2 months I haven't raised anything, so yeah, excluding that break, it didn't take me that much. And look at it, I was awarded as the cleanest driver, and we see some of the awards, and we see that the race winner was Alex Mendoza, and Ariel actually crossed the line in first, but because he had a 3-second time penalty, got demoted down to 2nd, and actually he was going to get demoted down to 3rd, but I finished with the penalties applied, less than 10th. But well, it was an HRL 2, 4, 5, 6, and unfortunately my teammates, well, had a disastrous race and told me that the ones that were at the back were pretty dirty. Fortunately, I didn't have to deal with these drivers, but well, with that ends this video, and hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a like. And with that, in 15 hours I would have another race, which was from the Valhalla Victory Racing. I'll cover that in another video. See ya there. Goodbye.